As I came into juvenile halls and I came into drug rehab centers with teenagers, it became very apparent to me that they all had something that they wanted to share. They had something that I could not necessarily get out of them unless they had a forum that was totally open, unless they had a forum that was totally inviting and said to them, your story is important. It's not the story that I tell you to tell. It's not a story that those people that open and lock the doors have you to tell. It's the story that you have to tell. And the only vehicle that I know for that is InterPlay.
My name is Margaret and I work at St. Mary's Center. And St. Mary's Center, I understand, is located about 2 blocks away from InterPlay. Cynthia came one day with a gentleman. They were just, when they first opened up, and they were going around in the neighborhood with flyers about an open house. And it happened to be on a Wednesday when we do music outside with the seniors. So they joined us for a moment or two of music, and it was like, it was love at first sight. I mean, here were these seniors who love music, and these 2 people from InterPlay who came, and it was magic.
We go over to some of their celebrative events and share meals with them or workshops. And they come to some of our celebrative events.
Well, my name is Darlene, and I stayed in the shelter here last year for a while, and our lovely Margaret got some of us seniors together and said, well, we'd like to go to this dance movement. It was called InterPlay. They always ask me, and I say, this is what we do at InterPlay. It's a lot of movement over there and a lot of fun, and it's women, we all get together and enjoy it.
This is a kind of a new level of work for me. I have a tendency to keep we call it splits in InterPlay, but I have a tendency to keep my worlds kind of separate. So this is another chance to bring together the 12-step recovery program, and I mean, it's called InterPlay for the 12-step recovery programs. So it's a new chance for me to meld some worlds in a deeper way. Even though I add in some of the principles of their recovery program, I've stuck mostly to the play idea of InterPlay because they're so beat up when they get to these places and they're working hard, on their programs. I just like to give them a place to cut loose. A lot of them are at these places in lieu of going to jail. They get this decision, you can either go to jail or you can go to this place, and they pick the recovery houses to avoid jail. So it can give them a real sense of freedom in a place in their lives where they feel really, restrained.
One of the workshops I taught, we were going around and people were saying their names and doing a gesture before they said, so this guy does this elaborate, and then says his name. And the whole place just erupted into laughter, and we were processing it afterwards, or just, doing noticing, and somebody said, I've heard all of our problems over and over, but I've never seen us so joyful together.
I was starting and following and leading, so I just did some little movement. I just yelled out, no. So in rhythm, we were like, no, no. And the director came downstairs after my class was finished, and she said, that was so great to hear, because those women really need to learn how to say no. And it was so great to hear them yelling it out in such, with such emotion.
I think the first word that I gave them was courage. I just went right for it. So I gave them the word courage, and I said, tell a 2-minute story about courage. There was two boys, and one of them was talking about the courage that it took for him to take his daughter for a walk to the park because he was not in her life. There was one who was talking about the courage of his mother and how even though he was always acting out, how she was always there for him. Every time they let him out of juvie, she would be there to pick him up and take him home. And beyond the story, the dance. InterPlay gave me the vocabulary of movement. What does your life look like as movement? When you tell that to somebody, you watch the dance unfold.
Women will come for the very first time, and you can just see in their bodies that they have dances inside them that have just never had a kind of safe place to be.
What is your life as a song? Now that one is sometimes more of a stretch, but if there's any one of the boys that is anyway a rapper or whatever, the beats start to come on. I can never do that, but my life, and then there they go.
It is wonderful to enter those sacred doors, and when we're inside, we're all one. We're not St. Mary's, and for some of the folks that we bring there, they're not homeless, and they're not poor. They're just part of the play that goes on for that time.
This time in my life, I'm diligently trying to get my life down to what's really important. And this is one of the things. Like the things that are really shining out, like this is really important. Put your time here. This world is definitely one of the few.
Rubbing shoulders with folks that have a lot of talent has been so positive for St. Mary's Center, and I hope it continues.